Hi guys, and welcome to this Model Engineers Workshop. Have you ever gone off the rails? Then have I got a solution for you. Hi guys, I'm the chef. So if your loco's ever gone off the rails, then the solution of course is to fit a derailleur bar to the front of it. So here's the two 40mm angles we made in video 17, I think it was. The rest of the materials are this 25x5 and the 25x12. As you can see, I need 25mm, so 25mm square, 5mm thick. This is for the drain cock manifold bracket. This needs an 8mm hole to be drilled in it, and the corners just to be radiused off to take away any sharp edges. And then it can just be cut off on the power hacksaw and cleaned up on the belt linisher, which is just outside the workshop in the garage. And we need this, which is the main. This is the actual derailleur bar. This is, as I say, 25x12. Again, as you can see, we need 236mm of this. I've already put the marking blue on and scribed the lines. So this one goes straight into the power hacksaw and will get cut off, and again can be finished on the belt linisher. We're going to take off all the sharp corners when we're done, and then we need to put a nice big radius on each of two corners, whether it be the top two, in this case, or the bottom two as it sits. It's just that the rounded corners go down when it's on the loco. This one I'm going to drill the hole in first before I start cutting anything off. 8mm hole that way, and I'll also round off the corners while it's a whole length, because it'll give me something to hang on to, otherwise it's going to get very hot and burn my fingers. When it's all together, these little brackets, they go, if you imagine that on the inside with those two holes just there, and two holes, move that out of the way a bit, and those two holes down there. So these get mounted on the inside, somewhere down there. Get that back. And then once they're bolted in, I can tack weld this piece onto those. It goes across underneath the loco, goes across here. And again, it just stops the loco crashing down onto the ground or the rails if you do happen to derail. A couple of tack welds on each side, and then whip that out, weld them up properly. It's going to be fun. I'm not a welder. And then this little piece, it forms the, as I say, the drain cock manifold bracket, will then weld onto what is at that point then the top. So it comes up here between the frames a little bit, so that when the pipe work for the drain cocks from the cylinders is done, it has something to give those pipes some support, so they're not just flapping and rattling around. All right, guys, so I'm going to get this big one into the power hacksaw, get that cut off, and then we'll get onto the belt linisher, and then after that I'll get this into the mill, get it drilled, the 8mm in the right place, and then two holes, 6mm in that one, and two holes, 6mm in that one. Then these can be bolted to the frames temporarily. Turn the whole thing over so it's on its back, position up the main bar, and get the tack welding done. Right, okay. I'll be back in a tick. I'll just get this big piece of steel set up in the power hacksaw, and we'll get that piece cut off. All right, back in a bit. Righto, guys, so here we are, all set up now in the power hacksaw. So I'm just going to go around the other side of the camera, and we'll get this piece cut off. Shouldn't take long. Okay, here we go. There we go, nice clean cut, quite painless. Where is it? There we go. No sweat on my behalf. Not dead keen to do any hacksawing. It tends to be hard work, especially in stuff this thick. Maybe I'm just doing something wrong, but hey, I've got a power hacksaw, I'm going to use it. All right, guys, I'll set up again over by the belt linisher and we'll get the two corners ground off and get all the sharp edges taken off. Is that going to focus? Yes, there we go. All right, guys, see you in a bit. Okay, guys, so we're set up here now at the belt linisher. I'm just going to grind off a corner that way and then do the other one on the other end to get a nice radius, and then a bit of cleaning up. So this might get a bit noisy, I don't know, but we'll get the machine on and we'll see how we're going. That should do us nicely. I'll do the other end now. Righto, guys, so there you can see we've got the two rounded corners, got them both on the same long edge, so at least I haven't messed that up. I'm now just going to chamfer off these 1, 2, 3 on both ends just to make a nice edge. The rest is all nice and smooth. I don't want any sharp corners catching anybody, most likely to be me. So here we go again. All right, guys, as you can see, I've just taken off a little bit, put a little bit of a chamfer on all of those sharp edges. There's nothing there now that's going to affect anything. All nice and done. Right, shut this down and we'll move back into the workshop and get on to the next piece. All right, guys, hang on. Okay, back in the workshop now. Just a little bit of a mock-up, just in case I wasn't very clear about how this goes together. You can imagine that. Actually, I think I can probably make it clearer if I actually turn this over and stand it up the right way. Yep, there we go. Now, if you imagine that as it is, bolted up, so bolted up underneath the loco, oops, with the loco frames running here and here. Two bolts to go through here. And there's going to be this little piece of the 25 by 5 with a hole in it, which will be welded onto here, and it just comes up and over, just gives the drain cock manifold some support, so all the pipe work that goes from the drain cocks in the on the cylinders, some support. Right, guys, so I'll get onto this piece next. This needs to go into the mill vise. It needs to have an 8mm hole drilled in the middle, I'm pretty sure, so 12 down, 12.5 in from the middle, on each side rather. Get that hole drilled, then onto the belt linisher again. Get the two corners just rounded off. They don't need a much of a radius. In fact, it's just not, I don't think they're even mentioned on the drawing what the radius of those is. And then once that's done, again, into the power hacksaw, cut that off, bit of a clean up, and then that piece is ready to go onto there. So once that's done, 4 holes to drill, bolt these into the frames, line everything up, get some clamps on it, start getting some tack welds going, whip the whole lot out. After that, flip it up, get it to a position where I can actually weld it, get to the welds properly, get in 4, as good as I can anyway, welds, and then we get this little piece welded on in the middle here. Needs a bit of cleaning up, and this will just have to be ground away. Again, on the belt linisher, I'll just take away the scale that's on the top of the bar, but the rest of that doesn't really matter. It's only going to get grit blasted and painted anyway. All right, guys, sorry for my finger there. I'll get sorted out and I'll be with you soon. Righto, guys, so I'm now set up in the mill vise for drilling the 8mm hole in the drain cock manifold support. You can see there's the end of the material. There's my line that I'm going to eventually cut off on. We'll have to work from this end of the vise this time around, because that's a long piece. As you can see, it extends slightly over the bench, because if I go the other way, I'll be crashing into the wall, which I don't want to do. So we're going to have to just reset the DRO. So I'm just going to use the 10mm section here on the edge finder. Find this, set the X axis to 0, then -5, and then reset it to 0. So it actually lines up on the end of the material. I'm then going to touch off against this inside edge and this inside edge. And then I'm going to use the function on the DRO. This one here, the half, thump Y, because of course X, Y, Z. And then that will put me on the center line of the piece of bar. It doesn't matter what width it is. I don't need to know. I don't even need to measure it, but it's 25, 25.4, could be 1 inch nominal. And then all I need to do is, because I've set the center line of the edge finder to the 0, I then need to come in 12.5, and then I can center drill, go through with a smaller drill, and then so it'll be center drill. Then I've got my little 4.2 there, and my 8mm drill there. I've also got a little bit squirty bottle of cooling liquid just to put a few squirts on, just to keep things a little bit cool, and we'll go from there. Right, I'm going to get you back in the tripod, guys, and get the machine running. So usual story, it might get a bit noisy, but it's not normally too bad. Let me just get you into the... Don't quite know what happened there. Somehow I managed to push the stop button. So I've got you back into the tripod now. And I'll zoom in a bit. I'll just drop that down slightly, so you've got a bit of a better view. There we go. That'll do us. So a little bit of a three-way check. Just going to get onto my seat. There we go. And do this one first. 0, set it in over 5 because this is 10 mil. 0 again. Then I'm going to go here and here. Use that on the y-axis and use the half function on the DRO. So here goes, guys. Might get a bit noisy, but as I say, it's not normally too bad. Oops. Right. Stop that. Let's go into the high drive. Turn it up a bit. Let's move that along a little bit as well, just to make sure we've got some clearance. Right, here we go. Second time better. There we go. Oh, a little bit too hard. Making contact shortly. You'll see the edge finder. Hopefully you can hear me. You'll see the edge finder suddenly start to come back into focus as it stops rattling around. And when it kicks, which is going to be any second now. There we go. Coming into focus. And she'll kick there. Right. Lower that down. Go across 5, because that diameter that I used on the edge finder is 10. So come the half. I'm just looking at the arrow. 0 out the X again. Now I've found that edge. I can move in any distance, arbitrary, it doesn't matter. Any distance I like. I think I just hit the tripod there, sorry for that. Let's just move across this way. Again, you'll see the edge finder, it stops rattling around. Start to come into focus for your eyes when it kicks. Coming up, there it goes. 0Y. Go across the other side. And repeato. Comes into focus as it stops rattling around. And we'll kick. Right, there we go. Let me stop that. You might be able to hear me a bit better now. Right, so let me just bring you down. There we go. Tip you up a bit. So what I'll do is get a focus on that. Now I've got to try and remember this. I believe it is half Y. Oh, I got that wrong. Okay. All right, I'll take it must be Y half then. Right, let me just do that again and I'll get back to you. Right, I think I've got it this time. So I've remeasured between the jaws. I think it's going to be Y half. So wish me luck, here we go. Y half. There we go, I've got it. Right, now, all I need to do now is wind this back to 0. And we're coming up, you can see it. We're on to 0.4, 0.3, 0.2, 0.1. 0.0, we're getting very close. Few little light taps on the hand wheel now. There we go, 0.0. I'm going to lock that axis down. Now, of course, I need to be 12.5. We've already done the 0 and then the 5 and 0 again from this edge. So I need to come in 12.5 now. So I'll be the center line of the bar, 12.5 in. So let's put the tripod back down again. Tip you back up. Yep, managed to do it again. Managed to somehow stop the camera. I think I'm pushing the buttons as I move it around. Right, so I'll bring this into 12.5 now. Nope, there goes the tripod wobbling. Sorry, guys. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 2, 3, 4. This is where we slow down. And damn, that's close. Let me just see if I can get it actually 5/1000ths of a millimeter. Few taps, there we go. Right, so I'm just gonna take you out the tripod again. I'll try not to turn the camera off this time. So, zoom back out. That's that button. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take out this collet holder and the edge finder, put the drill chuck in. I can drop this down. It's not going to drop the vise down. And there we go. We get some clearance. Beautiful. Right. I'll get back to you when I change things around and we'll drill a hole. All right, guys. Back in a tick. Hang on. Right. Got the chucks all changed around. Center drill chuck instead of the collet chuck and the edge finder. I'm going to power up the mill, drill the hole, drill the center. Change to the smaller drill, go through, making sure that the parallels underneath here are clear, which they are. I just checked it with my finger. Once I've gone through with that, drop the vise down a bit because the 8mm drill is quite long. We'll get the 8mm drill in, go straight through. Then a case of just cleaning up both sides with a countersink, just to make sure there's no burrs. And then I'll get back to you. I might get a bit noisy again. I keep saying that. It's not too bad, but here we go. Okay, let's drill. So 3 holes to drill 1. Here we go. There we go. Done. Right, back in a tick. Right, now I'll just remove the burrs from the holes, both sides. Easy as. Okay, now at the belt linisher, just to take off those 2 top corners, nice and long, so I've got a handle to work with, and then onto the belt, onto the power hacksaw, cut it off to length, and then using a pair of pliers or mole grips just to hold it so I don't burn my fingers. We'll just tidy up that cut edge. All right, here we go. There we go. Doesn't need to be exact or anything. I didn't mark it out. It just needs to be rounded off. I will just, ooh, that's hot. I will just run the belt finisher front and back just to take off any more burrs, and then I'll see you back in the workshop. Right, now into the power hacksaw and get this bit cut off and cleaned up, and that's another piece done. Here we go. And there it is done. Okay, that piece came off nice and easy, nice and clean. As you can see, I've got it held in a little pair of mole grips so I don't burn my fingers on the belt finisher. This piece, as I've been trying to explain, will go about there in the middle. Yep, something like that as a support for the drain cock manifold. And right, this just needs to be a little bit of a cleanup on that end, get rid of all the burrs. So a little bit of a chamfer on 4 edges. So back I go to the belt finisher and we'll take a look at that. Another short job for the belt finisher. Here we go. See if we can get this to focus. There we go. You can see a little bit of a chamfer there on those edges. Just nice and smooth. Not going to hurt myself on that. No sharp edges. Still pretty hot. Quick dunk in a bit of water. That will cool that off very quickly. You're going to focus. Yeah, there we go. All right, back in the workshop. Here we go. Little quick view of what this thing will look like when it's finished. Now my hands and my tools aren't in the way, so that's a derailleur. Oh, wonderful. Right, so I've got 4 holes to drill, clean some scale off on here, clean the scale off on the sides here, then it's ready for welding. Sometime during the week, if I get the chance, I'll have to go and get a argon gas cylinder so I can just TIG weld some tacks and then get it all properly welded together once it comes off the frames. Right, I'll get these angles into the frames, drill some holes, get them tapped. And you've seen me doing that one many a time, so I'll wait till I get those mounted on the frames for the next clip, which will be coming up for you very shortly, and for me, probably in about 5 minutes. All right, guys, I'll be back soon. Hang on. Righto, guys, there we go. That's the derailleur bar finished now, just for a bit of welding. As you can see, I've taken the scale off, so I've got some nice clean surfaces up to weld to on the angles. I've done the same on both sides of the derailleur bar and along the bottom, because what's now the bottom is actually the top when it's actually, the frames are upside down at the moment. So of course the little support bracket will get welded on about there in the middle anyway. It'll all get measured up once I get the angles welded onto the main bar. All right, guys, so I'll draw this video to a close now. I'm going to have to investigate how I can do welding using a mobile phone camera, because the last thing I need to do is blow that up. It's incredibly bright, of course, bright as the sun, they say. It'll do your eyes in if you're not careful, that is for sure. Right, so yeah, I've got to get some gas organised and then investigate the welding part for how I can do it using the camera on the phone that I use, and then we'll continue on with the derailleur bar. So hopefully this will get your loco staying on the rails, or if not staying on the rails, at least if it does jump off, it won't do any damage, or not a lot anyway. Simple stuff, maybe a bit of scratch in the paintwork. So as usual, guys, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications for when the next video comes out. We're doing really well on subscribers. Not that that's important, I just enjoy doing this, and hopefully you're getting some enjoyment out of it as well. All right, guys, that's it for now. This is the chef signing out. Bye for now.